Hello everyone, in this video we are going to see how we can show data from the database into MVC based ASP.NET web application. So firstly we are going to create the application, new app, select web application and the model view controller base, and then the language should be C#. I will go ahead and press continue. And then here I will use the authentication as individual authentication .NET version latest one. Click continue. Here I am going to provide the application name as employee and the solution name as the employee. So the project folder will be created inside this project location. You can define the folder as you want. So create it. So you will see the window as a different window if you are using Windows. Here as I am using Mac OS, that's why the Visual Studio is different. The next thing I'm going to do, just open these tools and then click manage NuGet packages. You have to select the browse, then type MySQL. You have to find the pomelo.entityframework core.mysql1, and then if you are using Windows you will see your project here, and then you have to check your project where do you want to include these packages. So we can click add package. Okay, currently it is adding the pomelo.entityframework into our project. Now the next thing I will do, just go to this project and then in the program.cs I'm going to add my connection. Currently it is using the SQLite, so we have to comment these codes, builder.service at db context, this whole code we have to comment, and then I'm going to say builder.services at db context pool, and then at angle brackets, and between that we have to provide this class name inside this data folder, application db context. Alright, so the next thing that we have to do, put parentheses here, and inside parentheses I will say options equals angle bracket, that means the greater than symbol, options dot use MySQL. Now put parentheses here. The next thing that we have to do, just open this app settings.json file. Here we are going to change this connection string into our one. You might use in MySQL Workbench or any other software. So open your database manager. In this case I am using XAMPP. Here you have to start your MySQL database and then Apache server. Now the next thing that you have to do, you have to select your MySQL database and then you have to see this configure button anywhere, and then this is your port number 3306. Okay, here in this connection string we have to pass in server is equals to localhost colon and then the port. The port number is the number that you received here, 3306. So we can put that here. Normally it will be 3306 in your computer also, and then after that we have to define the database. So here you can create a new database by providing a new database name, but you can also use existing database name here. So I will say employee DB, and the next one I am going to say the user. I'm going to set this equals to as root. Normally your user account will be root. Don't know that? You can open your browser and then go to localhost /phpMyAdmin. Here select user account section, then you will see your username as root, and also you will see your host name as localhost. Alright, and the next thing, if you are using a password, you have to provide that here after the equal symbol. If you are not using any password, you can keep this equal symbol as it is and then go for next one. So the next one will be persist security info. You can set this equals to true if you want to remind these credentials. Okay, here don't forget to dismiss the semicolon. If you add the semicolon, it will end up with the error because this is a JSON file, so you cannot put any semicolons here. Alright, here in this program.cs options.use MySQL, inside parentheses we have to pass in the connection string. Now it will require another argument, which is the server version. To detect that, we can use server version class dot auto detect. Alright, now inside parentheses we have to pass in the connection string that we define in our app settings.json file, which is this one. Okay, that is fine, and after that we can end up with the semicolon. Now if you wanted, you can just press create a new line to simplify this readability of this code. The next thing that we have to do, just right click on your project and then open in terminal. Okay, now you have to type ls or any command to see what is current context of this folder. So what I will do, just say .NET EF migrations, add your migration name. In this case I can provide my migration file as initial create. Now we have to press enter. Now if you are using Windows, you don't have to use this .NET EF. Instead you can say migrations add initial create. Okay, the migration file has been created. Now if you are seeing any errors, all you have to do, just delete this migrations folder and then try again. If you are still seeing any errors, you have to check whether your project is still running. If it is still running, you have to stop the current running process and then try again. Okay, the next thing that we have to do, in the terminal we have to execute the database update command. For that we can use .NET EF database update command. If you are using Windows, you don't have to use this .NET EF. You can say database update. Alright, it is being created. Now we can check our database manager to see whether our database is available. Now we can see the employee database is available here, and also it has some default built-in folders. Alright, now we can go ahead and run this application to ensure everything is working. Now I will press register and then enter some email, also the password. Okay, registration is success. The next thing I'm going to do, just create a new table using code first approach. In this models folder, I'm going to create a new class. Right click, add new class. So the class name, I'm going to say the table name that I want, I will say employee, then create. Now remove this constructor. Instead I will say public int id. So id I will get as get set. Inside braces we can say get colon semicolon set semicolon. So the next one I am going to say string name. So this will be received using get set. Okay, now we need another one. I will say public string email. We are going to use get set for this. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is just create a new class here. I'm going to say public class and then class name as table name context. Here we have to say colon, and we are going to inherit this application DB context class to here. We can say application DB context. Now we have to refactor this. Right click on this and then click quick action and refactorings, and then it will import this data folder to here. We can say using employee, which is the project name .data, this folder. Okay, now add braces, and then you have to right click on this class name and then press quick actions and refactorings. Here you have to select this generate constructor employee context, your table name, otherwise your class name, and this will generate your constructor. And below of this constructor I'm going to say public db set angle brackets, and between that we have to pass in this class name that we have created, employee. And after that we have to provide the table name as we needed in the database. I'm going to say employees. So we are going to use getter and setter. Alright, the next thing that we have to do, open new terminal. If you forget that, all you have to do, just right click on your project and then press this open in terminal option. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do .NET EF migrations add, and then the migration file name I'm going to specify that as add employee. So after that, if you try this code, it will show you a error. Let me show you that error here. If you execute this, it will show more than 1 dB context was found, this error. So as the solution, we have to say after this migration file name space -c, that means we are going to say context, and the context name as this class name that we defined here, which is employee context. We have to put that here and then press enter. Now it is success. After that we have to update our database. For that we can use .NET EF database update command. Now it will show us an error. Let me go ahead and show you how we can fix this. We have to say .NET EF database update and then -c. Now you have to specify your context name here, this class name here that we created in our model. This one, put that here, press enter. Now hopefully it should show us another error. That means we have to avoid this error. So for that we can go ahead and delete our tables. I will go to my localhost /php myadmin and then select these tables. I'm going to say drop here. Okay, now I can say .NET EF database update -c employee context again. Okay, now if we check our database, our employees table has been created. Okay, now we can hard code some values. For example, we can go to insert and then enter some name here. I can say Ashane and then the email as ashane@gmail.com and then press go. Alright, values has been added. So we are going to create the controller now. To create the controller, right click your controllers folder, click add new file. Here select ASP.NET Core, select controller class. Here we are going to define the controller name as employee controller. Okay, here I am going to create a new variable in this class. I will say private read only application DB context. Now we can refactor this by right clicking on this and then click quick action and refactorings. Currently it is not showing to me, so I can say underscore context. After defining the variable, we have to fix these quick actions and refactorings and then say employee dot data should be imported here using employee dot data. Okay, now we are going to create the constructor for this controller. For that we can say public employee controller and then parentheses. This is going to be parameterized now. This is going to request application DB context and context. Now at braces, inside braces, I'm going to say this underscore context is equals to this context that we received to this constructor. Okay, now if needed we can reformat this code. We can select all, click edit, select format selection. Okay, now the next thing we have to do, open our application DB context file, and then here after this constructor I'm going to say public DB set angle brackets, and between that we have to pass in our model name, which is this employee, and then I'm going to say employee for that as the variable name. Here we are going to use getter and setter. Okay, now we have to import this class inside here. For that we can right click on this and then click quick actions and refactorings and then say using employees dot data, this project name dot data, this folder. Okay, now go back to your employee controller and then here in this index method I'm going to say var employees equals to underscore context, this context, okay, dot employee dot to list and then parentheses semicolon. Now we can return a view. For that we can say employees. Now we have to create a new view. For that we can right click on our views, click add, click new folder. We are going to create the employee folder. Inside this we can create our view. Click at new file, select razor view. So you have to create the index page firstly. Click create. Here I am going to say p tag here and then hello world. Now we are going to run this. Here I am going to say / and then employee. Here we have an error here, employee db.employee table employee db.employee does not exist. So let me check. Here it should be the employees, the table name is employees. So let me check in my application db context. This is the table name, so the table name should be employees. So run again. So you might wondering how this / employees came. That because here in the controller, before the controller text, the class name was employee. After that we have controller, employee controller. So that's how it is identified. This should be employees. What we have done here is, in our application db context, we rechange this variable name as the table name exactly appears in the database. So here I can say employee. We got hello world. Alright, now in this index.cs HTML we are going to say at model and then I enumerable and then angle brackets. Inside this we have to pass in our project name, which is employee. You will see your project name here, employee. This is my project name. So and then we have to say dot our project name dot models, this folder, then the model name employee. Alright, now after that we have to say at braces. Inside braces we have to say view data square brackets and then title. This should be capital. Title is equals to index. Okay, now after that we can create our table. I can say h1 employee details. Now here we are going to create the table. I will say table class is equals to, inside double quotations I will say table hyphen. Actually this is a bootstrap CSS type. You can refer bootstrap templates, so you can say get bootstrap. So here you can refer templates as you wanted. For example, bootstrap themes for tables, like this. So we can access templates, and then here I will say ending angle bracket and then ending tag. Inside this we can say th-head. So this will be table heading element. So inside this I will pass in tr table row, inside this th. So the first one, th scope, will be call and then the value as hash. Similarly we can copy these and then paste that below. So the first one, I'm going to define the ID, first one as the ID, and the next one as name, the next one as email. Okay, so we can add another column if needed, for example handle. Now after that, this t head, we can create a for each to read our database tables. For that we can say at for each, insert this var employee in model. Okay, now after that we can say braces, inside braces we can create our table rows, tr. So the first one will be th, scope of this th as row, and the value as at employee dot id, and the next one at employee dot name, and the next one as employee dot email, at employee dot email. Okay, now hopefully we can go ahead and run to see whether these are working. /employee. Okay, finally we are seeing our data here. So let's go and add some data. Click insert. Here we say Ishank as the name and the email as ishanka@gmail.com. Now if we refresh our page, we can see that is available here. Now I added this handle to allow us to go to more details of this employee. Currently I don't have any other details for this employee, so we can wind up for now. So I hope this video helps. If this video helps, please subscribe. Thank you.